Hey, hi, Raphael.
Hi, Justin.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm a bit tired physically because we helped with the service project in the tennis club of my son, and then we played also tennis, and it's quite hot here, 35 degrees Celsius. I don't know how much this in Fahrenheit, but it's quite hot. So
Sounds
a
hot.
bit tired. Huh?
That sounds hot.
Yeah,
Got it.
but other than that, yeah, feeling quite well. Um, yeah.
Okay, got it. So yeah, you're feeling a little bit physically exhausted, but mentally and emotionally feeling pretty well, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, actually, at that moment, because I feel like being present here helps me. Because it's true that actually, when I look back at my day, I actually had moments where I felt overwhelmed, where I felt like trying to handle this transition from summertime to preparing the regular schedule again.
Mm.
So just yeah, just real when we asking this, I realized actually that just the fact that I'm really present here already removed a lot of the worries, concerns, and overwhelm I actually was feeling not that long ago.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, amazing power of presence, just being in the moment and kind of let the whatever happened in the past, just kind of let that go and feel at peace because you're only what's happening right now is happening, right?
Yeah, or what might happen in the future that also can create
Right.
a lot of trouble.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So before we jump into continuing with the WISER process, yeah, why don't we just check in how things went this past week? Um, yeah, I know you had a action step to um list some people that you wanted to contact and things like that. But yeah, how did that go this past week?
Yeah, actually it went quite great. I was able to have already one conversation I wanted to have, two, already two, and then one is already scheduled for Monday. For another person, it's a bit more and two other people I'm in contact. We already contact. We haven't been able to settle on a concrete conversation, but this went quite well, and the conversation that I had already went quite well. So yeah, feeling great about this, and actually having this focus on the process, on the action instead of worrying about the outcome is also very helpful. It's like I know that there is an outcome that I'm looking at, but at the same time, it's not fully in my control anyway. But I've identified last time that this is the right action step for us to focus on, and I realized when I focus on this, then actually it helps me to forget worrying about about the outcome and actually focusing on the process. Yeah.
Got it. Very cool. That's awesome. So you're able to have a couple conversations and schedule one, and then a couple are kind of in the process of being scheduled. Yeah, that's awesome. You're able to do that, and also, yeah, just focusing on the process, taking that next step, and not getting too overwhelmed by, am I going to get it done, or am I going to reach that goal? Sounds like a yeah, productive week and victorious week. So good job, Raphael.
Thank you.
Yeah. So so yeah, today we're gonna continue in the WISER process. And just a recap from last time we had a call. We went through we just started the who, and we went through gratitude and gifts. And today we're going to try to get through passions and priorities and maybe create some identity statements if we have the time for it. Um, how does that sound to you?
Yeah, sure, great. I'll be happy to explore these topics today. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and yeah, just like we talked about last time, last time I filled them out for you, but this time, now that you have the workbook yourself, you can go ahead and fill in your answers as we go through the different sections of the workbook. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right, awesome. Okay, so let me just close this door 1 second. There's a little background noise.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Okay, so yeah, first thing I want to ask you is about your passions. So yeah, passion can be anything that really brings you a lot of joy, or maybe some kind of activities that when you engage with, you kind of feel this state of, like, we call it flow, or like time kind of tends to go by quickly, and you can just kind of continue doing it and just feel a lot of energy through that activity. Um, so yeah, what are some of your passions, Raphael?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to kind of name it, but one thing I realized that I'm really passionate about, that I sometimes feel like it's so normal for me to do that I don't understand why other people are not doing it or not excited about it. It's kind of personal transformation, like really when when I or another person actually really there's a before and an after, and the whole process of overcoming certain limits that we have, internal, external ones, obstacles. Yeah. So yeah.
So I heard, one of your passions is personal transformation. So really, yeah, challenging yourself to grow and to overcome obstacles, develop yourself, and yeah, it's something that you're really passionate about. And yeah, obviously becoming a coach yourself, something that turn into yeah, also a career and something that you're offering to other people. So yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
I really like spending time myself doing it, helping others do it, getting coached like I'm experiencing now. So maybe that's why also it's so easy for me to be completely present here now and have energy despite what happened before, because I just really I love this.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. All right. So what's another one of your passions?
Um, yeah, it goes back to one that we mentioned in the gifts. It's about I would say deep and harmonious relationships. I feel like this is really something I'm passionate about. I feel like I can definitely it's expressed a lot into my couple, in my relationship with my couple with my wife. But I actually see that more and more. It's also something I naturally want to nurture in all the relations that I actually have, of course, in a different way than with my wife. But yeah, even recently going on a trip with some friends, but not just traveling and seeing nice places, but actually having deep conversations, connecting deeply with each other, helping each other to transform as well. There was a lot of deep conversations, actually, very transformative. So yeah, I realized this makes because I enjoyed traveling, but actually I realized that I really enjoy it even more when there's this deep connection. Yeah.
Right. So it sounds like really connecting deeply with people and kind of experiencing like harmony in the relationship, creating that kind of harmony in the relationship.
Mm,
Very cool.
yeah.
Yeah. What's another passion?
Well, I don't know if it's connected. I mean, of course, most likely the passions are connected. I don't know, or maybe I'm finding ways already in my life to connect them, but it's something around like having an impact, and maybe more specifically, an impact that is around world peace. You know, something, everything that's connected to, even recently when I had this trip with my friends who are not part of the movement, when we started to talk about, North and South Korea, Israel and Palestine, and things like this, I realized I got very passionate about this conversation of how important these issues are and how important it is to solve them, but also how important, in order to solve them, it all starts with ourselves, our own personal transformation, how much relationships we have with each other. Yeah, so they're all connected, but there's something that I'm passionate about where it's like this, bigger scale also, of harmony and peace. Yeah, I feel very naturally driven, find extra energy when it's about this topic. There's also what I realized when I started to change my career, because I was table tennis coach for many years, but when I was seeing there was no connection with, a bigger purpose in the world. I felt like lack of purpose, even though I was transforming people's, skills. There's some personal transformation there. Of course, you can nurture relationships, but like this bigger picture purpose was not so much in there.
Right.
Yeah.
So kind of being involved in like a bigger mission, especially like towards world peace, having
Yeah.
conversations about that really gives you a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I remember in 2017 I had this motto for my year, which was, I connected really to the quote from Gandhi: "Be the change you want to see in the world." And I really did connected, because it was both connecting to the first and this third point. And then right after that, that's when the rallies with Trumada started to had the motto of "Peace starts with me." And it immediately connected to that motto that was already from Gandhi, that was already inspiring me, and I was like immediately like, yes.
Right.
If that's actually a
Yeah.
change I want to see, it's peace.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That really yeah, sounds like it really resonated with you a lot. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, how about one more passion? Anything else come to mind that's a passion for you?
Yeah, I mean, um I like traveling and adventure, and especially with people I love, whether it's with my family or with friends, so that's what I did spend a lot of time this summer, actually, traveling with my family, visiting places, going hiking, visiting friends. And yeah, I like, and many times I actually thinking like, how could I actually maybe develop a career where I could do this all the time? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So traveling with people that you love. Um, yeah, that sounds really exciting. Okay, so you got four passions: personal transformation, creating deep and harmonious relationships, making world peace, and traveling and adventure with loved ones. That's awesome. And the next part we want to go into is your top 3 priorities. And yeah, this is a really important part of the process because it's based on these priorities that we're going to create the identity statements. So with these top 3 priorities, it's really important just to think about, what is your priorities right now. It has nothing to do with what anybody else thinks is, or should be your priority. Anything that you've been taught or told at any point in your life by anybody what should be important. This is just purely what is top of your heart right now, where you want to put your focus in. So yeah, what comes to mind as your top 3 priorities right now?
Yeah, I think number 1 that comes to me is really clarifying my mission. Clarifying my mission, because
Okay.
I've been I mean my mission within the movement right now, because I've been a young adult leader in France for now almost I don't know, since 2018, so already like almost 5 years. And then I was also a pastor for 3 years, but then we moved and I wasn't a pastor anymore. And actually, since I'm not a pastor anymore, I actually started to take more responsibilities in France. It has nothing to do with young adult ministry, like working on vision and strategy for 2027 and training pastors and things like this. I also started to get involved with training training leaders in Europe, and also helping other nations to develop their vision and strategy. So there's a lot going on. It's great, but it's not, it's not so clear of what is actually specific my mission. So yeah, I feel like wait, I lost my Excel sheet. Yeah, here. I talked to you. Clarify my mission.
Okay, so clarifying your mission is definitely a top priority for you. Kind of what is like clearly the mission that you're going to be taking and moving forward with. Okay, so what's another priority?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time to come up with this because I feel like the next kind of priorities depend a lot on the first one.
Okay. What's coming up for you? Like what?
There are different aspects that come up for me. There's, for example, finances,
Okay.
Because I've been like mainly my main activity has been as an independent coach in the past year, but I really felt strongly spiritually, but also even strategically speaking, that I feel like rather going into a phase where I more have like a salary-based job as a main, occupation, and then my coaching business as like a second that I keep doing, but more like a secondary activity. I felt like both spiritually and strategically, I felt like this was a better path. So and that's why clarifying my mission, when I say clarifying my mission, is also, it includes, of course, the financial support that would come with it or not. And then based on this, I would need to seek. So that this is one aspect, is the like finance aspect, and Yeah.
Mm.
And the other aspect is actually, yeah, the other aspect that is what I mentioned at the beginning of our coaching sessions, where is how to do it in a balanced way, how to kind of fulfill whatever mission it is in a balanced way. Yeah, and I think what I remember, what I mentioned there was, yeah, there was actually finances. There was finances, there was sleep, there was family time, and then clarifying priorities, because I've working on many different projects, and it's just impossible to work on too many things, big things at the same time. So yeah. So
Right.
yeah, so the kind of the priorities are kind of clear, but I have a hard time to kind of put them down as a top three. Maybe maybe you can help me there.
Right. Okay. So other than clarifying your mission, it sounds like, I mean, you mentioned like that they're connected, right? Finances is kind of connected to your mission, whether or not you're going to be receiving a salary for whatever future role you take on. And then also like just like balance, like finding balance in your life with your mission, career, your physical sleep, and time with family and things like that. Um, I mean, those sound like great things to prioritize as other top, priorities. Um, what's kind of what's stopping you from just deciding on those other two? Is there anything that feels off for you, or yeah, what's
No, actually, I could just put it. I mean, at the moment, and maybe once we get to goal setting, will become a bit more clearer. Because I feel like for me, it seems like a bit vague, but it's actually vague for a goal, but not vague for a priority. I mean, for a
right?
top, yeah. So
Yeah,
does this make
right.
sense the way I wrote this down for what I shared? Do you feel like that makes sense or?
Yeah, it makes sense. I think, like you said, like it's okay if they're vague. We're just talking about, pretty much areas of life, right? So it is kind of a broad, um, it's a broad kind of concept of what's important to you. Um, and that's okay. Yeah, we'll make it, what is the more specifics of this when we create goals and things like that. So, but yeah, so the only thing that I might recommend is with the first one, clarifying your mission. If you want to just simplify that to your mission being an important part of your life, like that, maybe that's the priority, and clarifying it is more like maybe the next step so that you can, really go to the next level with your mission. That makes sense.
Okay, so
How do you?
like as a priority, just put mission, and then
Mhm.
clarify would be more like a step, an action step in there.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because
Okay.
clarifying mission, this could happen, if 1 or 2 weeks from now.
Right,
But
right, right,
it would still be a top priority.
right, right.
uh, Once it's clarified.
Right. Exactly.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So yeah, this looks good. Um, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna create identity statements based on these top three priorities. And we might only have time for one, so maybe we'll do one, and then either you could do the other two on your own time, or we could just continue in the next session as well. But yeah, maybe we can start. So also let me just ask, are these top priorities, are they in order as they are now? Like mission and then finances and then balance, sleep, family. How does that order look to you?
Yeah, that looks pretty much the right order of priority. Yeah.
Yeah.
in
Okay.
this moment, that
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
not as a
Just-
general priority
Right.
thing, but just right now at this moment. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Great. So, yeah, let's take the first one, mission, and we want to create a very simple identity statement. And these identity statements are kind of they're statements that allow you to kind of declare who you are in this area of life, your kind of ideal self, the potential of who you can be in this area of life, who you want to be. And we create these identity statements to really create the foundation to go on to create goals and the strategy, rather than just thinking about, oh, I want this kind of mission, I want this kind of career. Focusing in more on who do I want to be, and then from there, everything else becomes a much more natural kind of expression of, well, if I'm already this, if this is who I am, what would I naturally want to do? What would I naturally want to have in my life as this person? So that's kind of the reason why we start with identities versus starting with goals. And one way to just kind of look at creating an identity statement is thinking about, for example, mission. If you're really investing like your 100% in the mission, not that you didn't have space for everything else in life, right? 100% just, you were really giving your best in this area of life, and you were feeling great about it. You were really making, striving forward. Who would you be being if you were doing that? And we want to make it into an adjective and a noun. So make it very simple, sweet, so that you can easily remember it. I am a, and then an adjective and a noun. So if it doesn't come automatically right away, that's also okay. Just kind of share whatever's coming up, and we can kind of play around with it until it sounds good to you. But yeah, what's coming up for you as far as
I don't know, it doesn't come up as a statement yet, but what comes up for me is definitely one of the big insights I had in the past 12 months was that even though I was trying to focus more on my coaching business, I could never identify as a businessman. Like I could identify as a coach, as an identity, but not as a businessman. And what came up is that I could much more identify as a missionary, actually. So it's interesting that the mission comes up and we're trying to make an identity statement with it.
Yeah, right.
Because that's an insight I already had before, yeah. So so it seems like the noun could be actually missionary, because we're talking about mission. It's something I feel like I can easily identify with already.
Okay, missionary. That makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like my life has demonstrated that a lot already, and whenever I think about it, it inspires me. So, so now the question is like, what kind of missionary am I?
Right. Yeah. What's an adjective if you kind of imagine yourself in that, being a missionary in your mission, and you're really, feeling fulfilled, feeling joyful, feeling this excitement around what you're doing. How would you describe that missionary? How would you describe that person in an adjective?
Anyway, maybe just speak things out loud will make it easier for me than try to.
Sure. Yeah.
Also, easier for those who are watching to follow. Yes.
Right.
But anyway, for me, speaking out loud things. So things that come to my mind is like something like being like very dedicated, or being ready to go the extra mile on one hand. On the other hand, it's also more like about I feel like the result I bring, or actually the transformation I bring. in a certain way, where because my passion is personal transformation, but actually it can be organizational transformation or whatever kind of transformation that also. So something that comes right now is like I'm a transformational missionary. Does this exist? Transformational?
Yeah, transformational. That's an adjective. Okay, well,
Um,
why don't you write that down for now
yeah,
and read it out loud again and see how that feels.
I'm a transformational missionary.
Okay. How's that land for you?
Pretty good. I mean, I don't feel any don't have any icky feelings or any kind of resistance.
Okay. So feels pretty good.
Yeah, because when I feel like when I look like at whatever mission I will, take on or clarify in the coming up time, I feel like already what I'm thinking about is, okay, what is gonna be the before and after taking on this mission. I remember that's something I clearly looked at when we were pastors for 3 years. I liked a lot to look at, okay, what was before and what was after. Not just, I don't like the idea of I was a pastor for 3 years. That doesn't have much value for me. But like what was I able to contribute in that time substantially, and it's
Right.
with a clear change,
Mm.
So it makes a lot of
Right.
sense. Not sure
Yeah.
about the exact wording, but it makes a lot of sense to what actually is really meaningful and important to me.
Right. Yeah, like everywhere you go, you want to make sure that you're making a difference, that there's a real transformation that happens in, yeah, whatever that environment is or the organization. Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. I mean, I personally, I think it's great. Transformational missionary. That does sound like you, Raphael. So I think it's a great identity statement.
All right, let's go with it then.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so just because of time, we're gonna stop there.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to, um, what do you think about, creating an identity statement for the other two on your own, or do you want to do that in our next session? What do you feel more
Yeah, I
comfortable
can
with?
try. So the idea is really that the identifiers are focused on the top three priorities. Yeah. And
Exactly.
maybe
So
I could use some of the other things about who I am to kind of get some inspiration of that statement. But the main
right,
focus are
exactly.
the top three priorities of this moment. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can think about your passions, also your gifts. They might give you some sense of the adjective, the noun. But yeah, as far as the identity statements, just kind of focus on the priorities. So the next one would be, your finances. If you're really just imagining your ideal state in your finances, and then who would you be being? And the same thing with like balance, life balance. And you come up with a simple identity statement. Okay.
All right. Yeah. I can. I'm gonna write this down. Oh yeah, actually, there's this other part. Yeah, the session notes where so actions. I put in actions. Work on my identity statements. My
Right.
two other. Yeah.
Right. And then, yeah, I'll just update this one. Passion priorities, identity statements. Yeah, always want to end with just any key takeaways or insights from the session. What were some key takeaways or insights from this past session?
Um. Hmm. Yeah, I think the key takeaway and insight is actually seeing how much mission is currently a big priority, like really in all senses, like spiritually, emotionally, practically speaking, in many ways. But I realized that beyond it being a very important and urgent matter right now, it's actually just genuinely important in my life. Actually, it has been always important. It's part of my identity, actually, in a certain way. So I think that's the main insight for me, that how much mission or being a missionary is something important for me now, but actually has been always important for me in my life. Yeah.
Right, right. Awesome. Yeah. So really kind of seeing how important having a mission, being a missionary, how that's really just so important to you. So, and you're kind of where you're at right now.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, great job, Raphael. Thank you for
Thank you.
yeah, for all, and looking forward to hearing your other two identity statements, what you come up with.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it will be very helpful that I will focus more on, just already feeling like focusing on who I am, then actually what I need to do. Already sensing that this would be a great way to actually move forward on these priorities. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome, awesome. All right. Thanks, Raphael.
Thanks, Justin.
Next time.
See you. Bye.